I must clear all the timings on the slide. Yeah, I forget always. Okay. It's a little bit blur, but I hope it is visible to all. Yes, it is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, we have started learning what is meant by the constructor in last lecture, and I think we have seen a small program also related to the constructor. Okay. Now we are just, I am just putting this from the textbook as it is, because we just go through the important characteristics of the constructor, and then we go to the multiple constructor types of constructor. Okay. Now here the constructor functions have some special characteristics. So which are the special characteristics of the constructor is the first one, they should be declared in the public section. Getting me? If anyone have a question in your mind that can I write the constructor into the private or protected area or the section? No. The answer is we should declare the constructor in a public section. Okay. So they are invoked automatically when the objects are created. Okay. So there is no need to invoke them separately. So whenever you object is created, okay, the function which is we have written related to the constructor, okay, is called, okay, or it is invoked. Okay, they do not have return types. This is very important. Okay, always remember what we are considering. The constructor, okay, that we are talking about, they not return any value. Okay, they do not have return type. Okay, not even void, and therefore they cannot return value. Okay, so if I am writing down the constructor, there is no need for me to write void, okay, and then integer. I think suppose integer is the name of the class and the integer is the constructor, then I should not write void and then integer. Okay, because I should not even write the void. Okay, because they not return any value. They cannot return any value. Okay, so third and important. See, the first one is they should declare in the public section. Second is it is automatically called when the objects are created. The third characteristic, they do not have return types or return values. It cannot return the value. Next is they cannot be inherited, okay, through a derived class, can call the base class constructor. Okay, see, this is one of the things I think when we start learning in the next unit, the inheritance function, okay, then we need to remember that they cannot be inherited. Okay, means the base class constructor cannot be called in the derived class constructor. Okay, so please remember the constructor are not inherited. Okay, so this is the next characteristic. Like other C++ function, they can have default argument. Okay, so it is possible that we can have the default arguments we can pass to the constructor. So they are having their default arguments for the parameter. Okay, next is the constructor cannot be virtual. Okay, I think when we are going to learn the virtual function, okay, meaning the virtual will be discussed later in the night. I think we are learning afterward. Okay, so it cannot be, constructor cannot be a virtual. I cannot use the word virtual before the constructor, or I cannot make it as a virtual function. Okay, or make it as a virtual. Okay, now next we are having, we cannot refer to their addresses. Okay, we cannot get the access to the addresses of the, okay, constructor. We cannot refer to their addresses. An object with a constructor or destructor, an object with a constructor or destructor cannot be used as a member function of a union. Okay, so I think in this case we are not use it member function of a union. They make implicit calls to the operator new and delete when memory allocation is required. Okay, now here why we are having, I think we have seen that, okay, why we should in some of the cases, as all of you are also learning the data structure. I think you are learning data structure this semester, na? Hello. Or if you're learning
Yes,
data
sir.
structure, okay, so now in data structure, I think when you start learning the, okay, the point through pointer, okay, you are going to create the maybe the linked list, the node of the linked list, or okay, whenever you want to allocate the memory for your data structure. So generally what will happen is you use the new, I think in C++, okay, instead of the malloc and free function, okay, we are using new and delete. Okay, these are the two separate operators we are using, or the keywords we are using, operators. Okay, but in C, I think we are using the memory, and we use the free function to we can say the free the memory. Okay, now in this cases, okay, generally I will allocate the memory in the constructor. Okay, constructor is used to allocate the memory, whereas the destructor is used to free the memory or delete the memory which is allocated. Okay, so this is one of the very important example of why we go for the constructor and destructor. So constructor will allocate the memory whenever the object is created, and the destructor is going to free that memory automatically whenever the object is destroyed. Okay, so this was the one of the important purpose of the use of the constructor and destructor. Okay, in that case it is possible for us that we can make the implicit call, okay, to this function. Okay, so let us, so we are going to see how we can call it implicitly or explicitly. Okay, so no issue. I hope all of you just understood this important thing. I don't think in generally some of the MCQ question. Okay, now here you don't think the MCQ questions will be related to the theory examination, but the MCQ question may be related to your campus interview also. Okay, so in campus interview generally for every subject, okay, they may have 5-7 questions. Okay, so in that question, okay, related to the constructor, you should remember that all these points you just go through it, so that any may be asked as a question. Okay, to for MCQ question or the written examination. Okay, written technical examination, they may ask something related to the constructor. That's why I'm putting this point. First important thing, constructor are declared only in the public section. Okay, and they are invoked or called automatically whenever the object is created. Okay, they do not have the return type. Constructor cannot return any value. Okay, they cannot be inherited. Okay, but they may have the default argument values. Okay, they cannot be used the virtual, or I cannot make the virtual function for the constructor. Okay, we cannot refer to their addresses, so user cannot find the addresses of the constructor. Okay, and the object with the constructor and destructor cannot be, can be used as a member of union. Oh, sorry, cannot be used as a member of the union. And to make implicit call to the operator new and delete when the memory's allocation is required. So these are the important points related to the constructor. Okay, so remember, I hope all of you understood it. Okay, is it clear to all?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think such type of the question might be asked in the whenever you are applying for any programming contest. Okay, I think before the programming contest, generally they go for the written test or written examination of the MCQ. In such a case, all these things might be asked, okay, depending upon the whether you are related to the C++ okay, programming contest. Okay, so I'm just moving to the next point to understand the okay, parameterize the constructor. Okay, let us understand what is mean by the this is the type of the constructor now I'm talking about. So it is a parameterized constructor. So now we are learning parameterized constructor. Now C++ permits us to achieve this by passing the argument to the constructor function when the objects are created. Okay, see what I am saying? It is possible for us to pass the argument, or we can pass the parameter, okay, to that particular constructor, to the constructor function when the objects are created. Okay, the constructor that can take the argument. Okay, so the constructor, how you can identify whether it is constructor or not? How you identify whether the member function is constructor?
Same name as that of class.
Yes, very correct. Okay, so if the function in name is having the same as the name of the class, means you come to know that it may be the constructor or it may be the destructor. Okay, because the destructor may have the same name, but before it is preceded by with the tilde character. So we are having a special character before it, okay, to make it as a destructor, but it is having the same name, so I consider as a constructor. Okay, so the constructor can take the argument. First, I have to find out whether constructor is there or not. Okay, if constructor is there, means it is having the same name as the name of the class. Okay, for example, here the name of the class is integer, and here also I am using the name of function, member function, as an integer. Okay, so it is constructor. And another thing, it can take arguments are called, means if the constructor is taking argument, I call it as a parameterized constructor. Okay, so here in this example you can find, I think we have already taken the same example. I think we have written the program for this. Now we are going to modify the same program to know that how I can pass the parameter to the constructor and how it is declared. So here you can find in the public, I think we have written this first point. The constructor must be declared in the public section. Okay, I cannot declare it in the private section. Here it is the integer, name is same as a class, so it is a constructor. But here you can find I am passing the values to this constructor, integer x and integer y. Okay. So previously we have seen only integer, and in bracket I think we have initialized this value. Okay. I think we have done only integer without passing anything. M is equal to 0, n is equal to 0, or we are assigning some value. Okay. But now it may happen that whatever the parameters are there, initial parameters, the user want to pass the value to those parameters. Okay, user want to pass the values, and it want that this value should be assigned to the variable whenever it is created. Okay, so this should be initial value. Initial value not necessarily always 0 0. They want that initial value of this particular data should be this. Okay, for example, we are saying the balance should be 500 or 1000. Okay, so we should in a position to pass the value to the constructor or parameter to the constructor with the help of the argument. Okay, and this is what is called as the parameterized constructor. Okay, I think instead of now moving to the uh, next slide, I think we should go back to the program. I think we have already done one first program of the constructor where without passing the parameter. Now let us pass the parameter to this constructor and check whether it is giving me the correct result or not, or how to call also in the main function the constructor which is having the parameter. Okay, so I'm just moving to this slide. Okay, so I just try to minimize this. I need to okay escape, then only it is possible. It's possible only when I go for opening it. Let me open the Turbo C editor. I think we have called the name of program as con1.c++. I think this is the program we had done initially. Okay, my screen is visible to all the students. Hello, the screen is visible.
Sir.
I'm not getting your voice. My voice is audible. This program is
Yes,
visible to all.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I just save as this program. Okay, and I call it as the con2.cpp. Okay, so I call it as program to demonstrate the use of parameterized constructor. Okay, parameterized constructor. If I just change the name of the program to which is the parameterized constructor. Okay, I think the things are very easy. Okay, I just have to add the parameter to it. I think it will take only 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, so what we have done here is we have declared the class atom. Okay, in this case itself we have okay, we are doing it, no issue. Okay, so we are, I think I have removed all this function, no issue. I thought we have taken the class as an integer. Okay, instead of that we are using it. Shall I use the integer class? So it will be very easy for you. Okay, so to go for it. Okay, so what I am going to do is okay, I just remove this. Okay, I make the example simple to understand. I'm going to do the directly the function class. Okay. So I think what is the name of the class we have declared is integer. In our PPTs, we have shown the name of the class is integer. Okay. So whether it is having any private data, yes, I think we have declared m comma n. It is having two variables m comma n. Okay. If you want, I think I will want to make it more generalized. Okay, I call it as my one number is account number ACNO means account number, and another is BAL for balance. Okay, I think that will be more easy for you to understand. By taking two variables here, one is account number and another is balance. What is the scope of these variables? What is the scope of these variables? Hello. These variables, integer, account number and balance, whether they are private, public or protected.
Private.
Private. Okay, so they are not by default, it is a private. I think when we move to the next unit, we are going to learn the use of protected also. Okay, so but now I'm just clearing with the private and public. So now I'm going to create the constructor here. Okay, so public integer. So the name of the member function is same. Here also it is same. I should not write void before it because it is not going to return any value. Okay, so integer, and now I want to pass the parameter to it. Getting me? I want to pass parameter to it. Which parameter I want to pass? I want to pass two parameters. First is also integer, second is also integer. Okay, what is my first indicate? My first indicate maybe the account number, and my second indicate is the balance. Getting me? Account number and balance. Okay. Just give the semicolon here. I don't want to declare the variable direct or the things directly here. I want to write the member function separately outside the class. But after assigning this value, I think we will know that whether that values are assigned correctly or not only when I'm going to display it. Okay, so I use the function here display. Okay, so that also I want to write it outside the class, no issue. Okay, I'm not passing any parameter to display function. It is void display. In bracket also we can write it as a void. Okay, no issue. Okay, and here I must give the, don't forget to give the semicolon. Okay, at the end of the curly bracket of the class, we must give it as a semicolon. Okay, now let us declare this function. Okay, now here I repeat again. You are having two options. You can write down this constructor outside the class, or directly you can write the code over here. Okay, म्हणजे मला इथं पण code directly लिहिता येईल. I can write it the code directly here, or I can write it separately. Okay, so suppose I want to write separately. You know what is the return value of the constructor? No, it is not written anything. So I not write void. I directly write integer. Okay, then because it belongs to the class integer, again integer. Okay, so integer is the class and integer is the name of the constructor. integer. Okay, so what value I am passing to it? Yes, I am passing the value account number and balance. Okay, so here I may call it as it is my integer TAC number, or L for local AC number you can say, or temp, or I can say it as L AC number, local value of account number and local value of balance. Getting me? So now here what I have to do in my constructor, I want to assign this value which is passed. Now this function constructor will be called whenever the object is created. At the creating the object, the user is going to pass this value. Okay. Now in that case, what I have to do, I have to assign this value to the my original variable account number, which is equal to LAC number. L stand for local account number variable, and L balance, sorry, BAL is equal to LBAL. LBAL. Okay. This is what my constructor is doing. My constructor is going to initialize the account number and the balance value to it. Getting me? L balance and the L account number, which is passed by the main function, and that is assigned over here. Okay. So let us start writing down the main function now. Okay. So I'm going to write the main function here. Okay. So main, I must write void main and void. I hope all of you are concentrating and listening very carefully. We are doing the program for path parameterized constructor now. Okay. Now, here what we have to do is, okay, whenever I am creating the object of the class, okay, when the object is created, what is going to happen? The constructor is called. So how I will create the object of a class? My name of the class is integer, correct? Hello. Hello. Someone has to mute your voice. Okay. So we are considering it as an integer. Okay. And by default, without passing parameter, आपण कसं declare केला integer. Suppose I take it as int 1. Okay. Or I just use that as a integer I1. Okay. So I1 is my object and I have given the semicolon. Getting me? I1 is the object of the type class integer. But now this integer I1, whenever the object is created, now I'm not having the constructor which is without taking any argument. But I'm having the constructor which takes the argument. So whenever the object is created, this integer constructor is called. Okay, this is my parameterized constructor. Okay, whenever this parameterized constructor is called, it is taking two integer values. But whether I am passing any value over here, no, I am not passing any values at this particular stage. Getting me? So what we should do is, it is possible. I must pass whenever it is created. I must pass these two values. Which are these two values? First one is account number and second is balance. Suppose my account number. So see, I have not taken it as a character array. Okay, so I cannot use A11. I use directly. Suppose the account number. Okay, it start with okay 111 okay 0. So this is my first account number. Okay, or you may take it as only 3-digit maximum. So it depends. Okay, so what type of the account number you want to assign. Okay, so suppose I give, okay, rather I say that my account number always start from 5. So it will be 5, 5, okay, and 5 and 0. So this is my account number. Actually, the account number is considered as the array of character because general way I pass the account number as A111. Okay, similar kind of things are there, but we have taken it as integer value. Okay, I need to modify that value. Account number is not integer, but it is an array of character. But let it be. I just pass it. Okay, account and integer value. Okay, so my integer value. Suppose I want my account number start always from 5. So suppose I consider it as 555. Okay, 4 times 555. Okay, or I take it as this is my account number. And suppose I want the now here whenever you are opening the account, suppose you have paid only 1000 rupees as a minimum balance. So your balance will be 1000 rupees while opening the account. Okay. But suppose you have created the account with different value. Suppose that is integer okay, I2. Okay, and here okay, suppose my account number is 5556. Okay, and now I am passing, I am just paying 500 rupees initially, so my balance will be 500 rupees. Okay, if I am having another customer as integer, okay, I3, okay, and now this is having the account number 5557, and but now it is passing the initially it want to pay 7000 rupees in the account. Okay, so that will be 7000. Okay, see here, remember while declaring the object. Now this I1, I2, I3, these are the object. While declaring the object itself, we are passing the parameter to this. Okay, that is very important. Okay, we are passing the parameter at the same time. Okay, in this case, we are passing this particular parameter. Okay, now after passing these parameters, this constructor is called automatically and the constructor is parameterized constructor, so it is going to accept these values and assign this value to the account number and the balance. Okay, I must write down the display function here. I think I have not written display function. Okay, so I write the display function here as what is the return type void. Okay, integer scope resolution operator. Name of function is display. It is not accepting any parameter, okay, but it is displaying this value. Okay, so which value it is going to display? So it will display account number. So I write at C out a double quote account number is this. Okay, what is this means? It is accept it as a AC number. Okay, this is the name of variable. Then it is going to display the next value. Okay, suppose you want it should be displayed on the new line. balance should be displayed on the new line. Use is end L. Use end L here. Double quote. Again, you can use balance with the display function. Okay. Now, in this particular case, okay, come back to the main function. I think we have created the three objects. Okay, but I must in a position to pass this value and display whether it is assigning. So I must use the call the display function of I1, I2, and I3. But before that, I just use it as cout double quote object one or object I1 rather I say. Okay, so object I1 I say and use int L. So now this is my first object. Now to display the account number and balance value which are assigned by my parameterized display function here. And yes, anyone, how I will call the display function of first object? I want to call the display function through the object I1. So how I should write?
I1 dot display.
I1 dot display. Okay. I1 dot display. I should call this function. Okay. And the same things are now repeated now. Okay. So I will go for the double quote. Okay. I write it as my object two. Getting me. Int L. Okay, and then I write it as I2 dot display function. See, we are not we are assigning this value directly to. I think these two are more than sufficient. I think. Yeah, I just remove one more object I have created. I think there is no need to create so many objects. Okay, we have created. Let us type it. Okay, quote object I3 int L. Okay, and we have to call the function I3 dot display. Getting me? Ch and in the main function, use the clear screen at the start. Variable anywhere. Okay, so there is no issue that I can write clear screen at the start also. So this is what we can show the object is created by passing the argument to it. See, this is not the function call. While I am creating the object, directly I am passing these values to it. Okay, let us see whether it is having some error. F2. Yes, save it. F9. Yes, it is having one error. What has happened? Okay, I have not written integer here. Okay, I must write the L balance is also integer. Okay, F2. Yes, F9. Control F9. Yes, you can find out object one. Account number is this. Okay, I think I have not must use end L after the balance. Okay, very correct. Okay, object I2 is created. Okay, so I use end L. Just 1 minute. One it may not be required, okay, but it is required for another objects. It is same as your slash n. I'm having three lines I'm using while it is displayed on the screen. Just it looks like appropriately. And F2 save F9 control F9. Okay, I think now it is displayed appropriately. Object 1 is having the account number 555, balance is 1000. Object 2 is having balance 500. Object 3 is having balance 700. Okay, see here we have not written any separate function to assign these values to the account number and balance. Okay, but we are considering that these values I am passing whenever the object is created. Means whenever the account is created, I am passing the account number and whatever the balance, whatever the amount is paid by the user. Okay, while opening the amount, I am passing this as a, suppose my minimum value should be 500. Okay, so it will be there. Okay, and so on. Okay, is it clear to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now here, while we are calling this constructor, okay, at the time of the object, I think I have shown one method. Okay, how we have called it is generally called as the constructor implicit calling, the implicit method of calling constructor. Okay, so here जे आपण pass केलेला आहे integer I1. Okay, I call it as constructor called implicitly. Okay, but here it is possible for me to call the constructor explicitly. Constructor can be called explicitly. Please remember this, because I think in some of the questions, in maybe your technical question, campus interviews, programming contest, okay, they may give some code and inform you to find out what is the output of the program. Okay, such questions are there. So here, okay, what I'm going to do, this is also correct. Whatever we have written, integer I2, 5556 and 500, this is also correct, but it is possible for me to call the constructor explicitly. Explicitly means by calling the name of the constructor. Okay, so how it is possible? So that is I'm showing here. The I2 is equal to integer I2. Now I2 is my object. So I2 is the object I have created, which is of the class integer. Now it is equal to, I can give. I give it is equal to, okay, while object is created, I give integer equal to I2 is equal to, and what is the name of constructor? Integer. Okay, so I again use integer. Okay, name of constructor, and now I am passing this value. Okay, which value I think we have used to pass is for the second constructor पण काय pass केलं होतं? I think we have passed 5556, correct, and the balance may be 500. Okay, and semicolon. Getting me? So if I call this way constructor, it is called as constructor is called explicitly, not implicitly. कसं syntax आहे बघा, integer I2. Integer is the name of the class, object I2 is equal to. Now I am using explicitly the name of constructor integer, and now I am passing 5556, 500. Okay, so this is also possible. This is another way we can call the constructor. Okay, is it clear to all?
Yes, sir.
I think this method is more easy. First one is more easy. Implicitly, I will use integer I3 directly in bracket. I am putting the values of the parameter which I am passing to the constructor. Okay, will be more easy to write. Okay, but you can also write in this way. Integer I2 is equal to integer. Okay, at that time, remember this should be, okay, this whatever if I'm using this method, it should be a constructor. Okay, so you should remember it is parameterized constructor, and I'm calling this, passing the parameter to it. Okay, so let us check whether it is work or not. F2 to save, yes. F9, control F9. Okay, I think correctly the values are displayed. Okay, I changed the value of the second parameter just now for our simplicity to understand whether it is correct or not. Okay, suppose I pass integer I2, second object parameter values, I pass it as okay, 5556, I keep this, okay, as it is, and the amount I just want to change it to, because I have paid 1200 rupees. Okay, while opening the account, F2, save, F9, we can go for control F9. Okay, you can find that. I think the object I2 is having account number 5556 and balance is 1200. I think that it is displayed appropriately. Okay, so this is something which is called as the parameterized constructor. We can pass the parameter to the constructor. Okay, is it clear to all?
Yes, sir.
You can take down the screenshot of the program so that I can move to the next point. Okay. Just 1 minute. I just remove the blank spaces. Okay, this is my first screen. You can find this is the parameterized constructor is created. A class integer. This is the constructor declared outside the class, and the display function displayed outside the class. No issue. Yes, you have taken down the screenshot of this.
Yes, sir.
This is the second main function now. I think this is the main function we have called. This is how it is created. Okay, this is the implicit call, and this is explicitly we can call the constructor. Okay, and then we have just called the display function to check whether it has doing appropriately or assigning the value appropriately or not. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
To the next point, my question is, can I declare multiple constructor in a single class? For example, can I have more than one constructor? Can I write in the class? For example, if I have written integer int, okay. Can I write another constructor again integer by passing some value or without passing the value? Yes, the
Yes, sir.
answer is yes, yes. Okay, and that is called as multiple constructor in a class. Okay, I just move back to the PPT and then we just modify this program to show you how we can go for multiple constructor in a class. Okay, I think I have directly written this value, no issue. I don't think it is not required any explanation. Okay, okay. This is the point which is called as multiple constructor in a class. Okay, what we are doing, we are having the more than one constructor in a class. But remember, okay, the constructor can be uniquely identified by its definition. Okay, the compiler should identify that this constructor is different, this particular constructor is different, this constructor is also different. Okay, it should be in a position to identify the separation of this constructor. Okay, and that is possible with the help of number of parameters you are passing, or maybe the number of type of parameters you are passing. Okay, if the two constructor having the same number of parameters and same integer value, I think then compiler will not identify. Okay, so this is what the example, the name of the class is integer, this is the data which we have declared. Okay, I think we have taken the account number and balance. Now here, this is the first constructor, that is my constructor number one, is not having any argument. We are not passing any argument to it. Okay, bracket मध्ये काहीच नाही बघा, integer bracket, we don't have anything. Whereas the second constructor, this is my constructor number two, this one. Okay, now this constructor number two ला काय केलं बघा आपण? We are passing two parameters, A and B. Two integer values I am passing to this integer constructor. And third, again I am using the constructor, this is my constructor number three, where I am passing only one value, integer ampersand 1. So I think directly compiler in this case will differentiate. The first constructor is not having any parameter argument which are passed. Second constructor I am passing two argument. Third constructor I am passing one argument. Okay, so it can now, depending upon the object while creating the object. Okay, while creating object, if I am not passing anything, okay, I am not passing any parameter to that particular object, compiler know that I have to call this function constructor number one. If I am passing two parameter, it will call constructor number two. If I am passing one argument, okay, and that is integer address of I or whatever we are having, then it is going to use the constructor number three. Okay, so in this way, we will be in a position to use multiple constructor in a class, and this concept is nothing but it is also indicate the function overloading. Getting me? What is the name of this? And this is possible with the help of the, because C++ supports function overloading. Now you see, I'm using the same function here, integer bracket, it is also function. This function name is again integer. This is also integer, but their parameters are different. Okay, and using this, I will be in a position to overload the function or use the same function. Okay, I think this is the concept. One of the features of the C++, we call it as the polymorphism. Okay, when we learn the polymorphism and function overloading, at that time we will see the different example, not for the constructor, but this is also the example of the function overloading. Okay, or it is the example of the polymorphism, but now it is related to the constructor. Okay, are you clear with this? We are going to do the program for the same. Okay, I think now we will use our same program. I think there is no need to use three constructors here. If you use only two constructors, this and this, I think that is more than sufficient for us. Okay, so I just modify our existing program now. Okay. The Turbo C editor is visible to all.
Yes, sir.
I give the name as on3.c++. I think the name of the program is demonstrate the use of multiple constructor in a class. multiple constructors in a single class. This is the name of program. Program demonstrates use of multiple constructor in a class. Okay, now here we will declare add one more constructor here. Okay, इथं आपण काय करूया? We will use without parameter constructor. Okay, integer. I'm not passing anything to it. Correct? I can declare it directly over here. Why to go declare it outside? I will directly declare it here itself. आपले कुठले value आहे account number. By default, you want, suppose user is not passing any parameter, then you want that account number should have the value 000. Okay, or I utilize single account number is 0 and the balance value is BAL value by default should be, I consider it as suppose 1000 because 1000 is my minimum balance. Okay, account number is, I don't have initially any account number. Okay, or I will use any value here. Suppose the account number is not there, I have to assign, I suppose it is -1. Okay, so I consider -1 indicate yet the account number is not assigned to that, but it is having the balance 1000. See, this is my by default parameter which you want to assign, okay, to account number and balance. Okay, so now this is my constructor. I call it as constructor without parameters, without arguments. Okay, parameters. I'm not passing any parameter. Now here you can find this is the constructor because the name is same. Okay, second, this is my second constructor. Okay, I think call it as this is my constructor 1. I call it as, and this is my constructor 2 or 2, which is the parameterized constructor. Getting me? See, what we have done in this particular case is, okay, I just take on the next line so that it is easy for you to understand. Clear what I have done. See, I'm using two constructors in the same class. Okay, so this is my first constructor where I'm not passing any parameters. It's a declaration code. I have written the code directly over here. Okay, instead of writing it outside the class, I have directly written the code of this. Okay, whenever this constructor is called, okay, then what is going to happen is, okay, the value it will assign by default value. Here I am using the constructor by passing the values of the account number and balance. Okay, I am passing to it. Okay, shall I declare one more constructor? Okay, for your simplicity, I declare one more constructor here by passing one parameter. Okay, suppose I want that whenever the user, okay, the account number is not written, okay, or the balance account and is created, but user has not paid anything. I want to assign the account number and balance. I want to assign the same value. Account number पण तेच value assign करायची मला, balance पण तेच value करायची आहे. Suppose it is the case, then I will just add one more constructor here. That is integer, and now I am passing the value int. Okay, it is int x. Okay, I have passed. ह्याचा पण कोड मी इथंच लिहितो डायरेक्टली. I want the account number is also x. I want the balance is also x. Means I want to assign the same x parameter to both the account number and balance. So this is the another constructor. Okay, why it is separate? Because this constructor accept one argument. Constructor, I call it this is my constructor number 2 with one argument, one parameter. I call it as one argument. Okay, whereas this is my third one. Now this will becomes my third constructor. Getting me? This is my third constructor is now having two parameters. Constructor 3 with two arguments. Getting me? I hope all of you understood the difference between this. So I have declared the three constructor. Okay, multiple constructors are there. This is first constructor without parameter. This is the second constructor with one argument or parameter, and this is the third constructor with two arguments. ह्या पहिल्या दोनचं कोडिंग आपण डायरेक्टली क्लासमध्ये लिहिलेलं आहे. Inside the class I have written the what should be done by these two constructor, and this is we have written outside the class. Okay, where it is going to assign the value. Okay, are you clear with this? I can use multiple constructor in a class. Yes, it is clear. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm not yet executed the program, but I want the conceptually you should clear that I can have multiple constructors in the class. But when it is possible, to have multiple constructors, the number of parameters I am passing is different. Okay, here I'm not passing anything. Here I'm passing one argument. Here I'm passing two parameters. So that will help the compiler to differentiate between it. Getting me? So it can differentiate that you are calling which constructor. Okay, it depends upon how many parameters you are passing. Okay, so let us do this whatever we are doing in the main function. Okay, so now I just go. I think it is better that we have created the three object. Okay, I think that will help us now because we have created the three constructor now. Okay, so now here in my main function I'm making the changes. Okay, now I am just calling this first one. Okay, now here which constructor is called? If I am using integer I1 directly without passing any parameter. So which constructor will be called here? Constructor number 1. Okay, because my constructor number is I am passing not any parameter to it. Okay, now in my constructor number 2, okay, here integer I2. Okay, so for I2, suppose I am going to pass only one value. Okay, and suppose that is 333. Okay, now in this case, which constructor is called? Constructor 2 is called because constructor 2 is accepting only one argument. And what is my third case? Third case, I think the constructor 3 is called because it is accepting the three parameters now. Okay, let us understand the difference between this. First constructor, when the object is created I1, I'm not passing anything, so it will call the constructor number 1 and initialize the default value of account number -1 and balance is 1000. Here what is the integer I2? Second I2 object is created, I'm passing only one parameter, so it is going to call the constructor number 2 which accept only one parameter and will assign account number is also 333 and balance is also 333. Okay, whereas this integer I3, I third object is created, I am passing two parameters, so it is going to call the constructor number 3. Constructor 3 is called and it will assign account number is 5557 and balance is 7000. Okay, and then we have displayed the same thing on the screen. Okay, is this clear to all? Hello, hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us execute the program. F2 to save, F9 if it is having some error, let us check. It is having 4 errors. We are having. Okay, I have used semicolon here. Okay, because I think actually initially I have thought to declare it outside the class. Okay, but I think it is not outside the class. Okay, now it is not having any errors. Okay, control F9. If I execute, yes, you can find my first object I1. I'm not passing any parameter. So by default, I have assigned account number -1, balance 1000. Object 2, I'm passing only one parameter 333. The same value is assigned to account number as well as balance. And the third object, I'm passing the both the values, account number 5557 and balance separately 7000. So it is assigned appropriately. Okay. So my compiler is now smart enough to know which constructor should be called. Okay, depending upon how many parameters and the type of the parameters we are passing. Okay, and it will call that function or the constructor appropriately. Okay, and that is what is shown with the help of this particular program. Okay, I call this program as use of multiple constructor in a single class. Okay, so I want everyone to note down the program or take the screenshot of this. Just 1 minute. As I said, I just removed some of the lines. So it will be one screenshot. At least you will get the complete class. Yes, you have taken the screenshot of this program to demonstrate use of multiple constructor in a class. इथं किती constructor create केले आपण 3 constructor. Constructor 1 without parameter, constructor 2 single parameter, one parameter, constructor 3 with 2 arguments. Okay. Shall I move to the next slide? Next They have taken the screenshot of this.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I just move to the down. Now this is your. You can take up to this. This is the third one. I think we have not written directly. We are writing separately. Then this is my display function. I have written separately. And this is the main function. This is the very important. How we have called the constructor 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And then this is the 3 cout. Cout and I call I1 dot display. Cout object 2, I2 dot display. Cout I3 dot display. Okay. Okay, I think today this is all about the constructor in detail. We have learned parameter the constructor first, and then we can see the how multiple constructor can be used in a single class. But remember, the main purpose of constructor is initialize the data members in a class whenever the object is created. So similarly, we are having destructor also, which is general purpose is to destroy. Destruct means to destroy the values whenever the object is terminated, okay, or object is removed. Okay, so I think tomorrow's lecture, I think we require now only one lecture to complete the unit number 1. Okay, so that we can learn the destructor. Yes, I just close this. What is the time? I think it is 10:58.